Welcome to the Witness History podcast from the BBC World Service. Today I'm telling you the story of how one woman went from girl to goddess to financial analyst. It's December 2010, and 15-year-old Chanira Bajracharya has just completed her first day in school. Why was she so late to education? Well, she had spent the last 10 years being worshipped as a living deity.
The feeling was weird because as a goddess, I was allowed to talk to only a restrictive group of people, my teachers, my relatives, and close friends only, and the parents. But apart from that, and like back in college, you have so many teachers, so many students. It was not that comfortable for me to joining into the conversation.
10 years before Chanira first set foot in school, she was chosen to be a Kumari, a child goddess in Nepal, worshipped by both Hindus and Buddhists. Chanira was the Kumari of Patan, meaning she was the second most important goddess in the whole country.
In my personal experience, I could feel the difference when I wore the Kumari makeup on and when I was in the full ornaments and when I had to sit on my special throne, the chair. I used to feel that I was superior to others or I should not speak to anyone. It automatically comes, no one needs to say that, okay, do not talk or okay, you should not show your emotions or something like that. It comes with the ornaments and with the power that comes within. So that's what I felt.
For Chanira, putting on the deep red silks of the traditional dress and painting the giant red and white eye on her forehead was an integral part of being the Kumari. But how did she become a goddess?
In the first phase, we have a ritual where the priests are going to invite the goddess into the girl's body, and the priests are gonna, after that ritual, the girls were not liked by the goddess. They themselves, start crying or, they show some signs that they're ineligible for the round. But then those who are liked by the goddess, they become red, their appearance starts changing, and everyone there can see that she's being possessed by the goddess. So she become more polite and just as opposed to what a normal 5-year kid is supposed to show. So she can be stable, and everyone knows that she is being possessed. So on the first phase, 3 of us were chosen and forwarded to the next round, where in the next round we have the priestess, the wife of the head priest, who's gonna take us into a room, and then she's gonna take off our clothes to see if we have any birthmarks, any scars, or anything that could disqualify us, cuts or wounds, anything like that.
As if that wasn't enough, tradition demands that she also possess the 32 physical characteristics of a goddess.
So there are 32 perfections, the list of perfections which are described in our historical books. We call it 32 bodily perfections. And that basically, if you can list those, it sounds something like you must have a chest like a lion, or you must have eyelashes like that of the cow. You must have a thighs like a deer or something like that.
After Chanira was chosen, at just 5 years old, she walked across the dusty floor of Patan Durbar Square to her Kumari house, a 6-story white brick building dotted with the twinkling glow of celebratory lights. This was the last time her feet would touch the ground of the outside world until her first menstruation, because it is believed that the Kumari is returning to their human form and can no longer continue as goddess. Chanira's life as a deity had just begun, and everything changed.
I used to wake up at around 5 or 5:30 in the morning, and I used to have a holy bath. And after that, my mom or my dad, someone would put on the makeup, and I would be dressed up as Kumari. And there would be a 30 minutes ritual where my father would be performing, offering different fruits, flowers, and garlands, just as we do to our gods. And after the ritual is over, there'll be some people from our locality or even tourists who come to get the blessings of the Kumari. So in the morning time, it's more into ritual side. But in the daytime, I used to have a private tutor who could come and teach me. So I used to have these classes to 2 to 3 hours a day. And after that, in the evening, it's more like normal. You can study, and you can, watch TV, or you can play videos, internet, YouTube, just normal as any other kid.
For 10 years, Chinera's days were filled with godly duties. But suddenly, at 15 years old, her role as a Kumari came to an end, and it was time to live life as a mortal. However, unlike previous goddesses who struggled to find their way in the outside world, Chinera went straight to school.
In the past, people believed that Kumaris did not get education because Kumari is a goddess herself and she knows everything on her own. That's how people used to believe. And even the teachers were afraid to come and, teach the goddess because they're trying to be superior than the goddess herself, right? So that way, people would hesitate to come and teach a goddess. But then my mom knew that she cannot be a Kumari forever, and she also has another life to follow once she's not a Kumari anymore. So if I did not study, I would lag behind in the skill that is needed to survive in today's world.
But what was school like for a former deity?
It was kind of really strange for me because for 10 years as a goddess, I had one kind of lifestyle, and the next day you have to be normal, and you don't know how being normal is like. So it was kind of all of a sudden change that happened. So from walking to bargaining in shops and communicating with friends in school, and going back from switching from a private tutor to a class where there are 40 other students of my age, it was kind of all of a sudden change, and I was not sure would I be able to cope up with all these things. And I was kind of having sad vibes because I had to lose the status of a goddess, and also some sort of curiosity as to how the new world will be and how would I be able to adjust into that.
It wasn't just socializing that was new to her. Even simple acts like walking to school proved to be a struggle, as she was used to being carried in a palanquin, a wheelless wooden box balanced on 2 poles, carried shoulder high by up to 4 people.
It was kind of hard to work in the first few days because, as a goddess, I had always been carried in someone's arms or in a palanquin. So working for the first time on my own was I felt really strange and I had my parents hold my hand and teaching me, how to walk and just I needed my parents to guide me to college, and then again pick me up from the college after my classes are over.
You might think that struggling to walk would be what shocked Chinera the most, but something else on the outside world surprised her even more.
It's full of struggle, basically, right? So there were a lot of negativities, like people fighting, and so many people are such selfish and something. I was all so protected from those negativities around the world.
After leaving college, Chinera achieved her MBA in finance and now works as a credit analyst for a mortgage broker in Kathmandu. She is committed to ensuring that the current Kumaris receive an education and have a helping hand when it comes to transitioning back to normal life.
So my intention basically is to, create a support network for the Kumaris, and that's why I often go to visit the current Kumari, and I have there are 2 Kumaris in between the current Kumari and me. So I was there with them in their phase of transition, and even when they were the Kumari. So yeah, I am doing my best to help them in all possible ways.
That was former goddess Chinera Bajracharya. She was talking to me, Anushka Matanda Dowati, for that edition of the Witness History podcast.